Hello, today we are reviewing Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer. I'm your host, Calvin Munsell, and I have here 4 quotes that we are going to be looking at. So the quote number 1. One afternoon, as he was carrying a load up the lot's face, he lost his purchase on the rock-hard ice and fell more than 2,000 feet to the bottom of the wall. Now I chose this quote because it really exemplified the presence of death on the mountain when they're hiking, and just like that's one of the few people that died, and that wasn't even during the storm. And number 2, his cheeks were coated with an armor of frost, one eye frozen shut, and he was slurring his words badly. Now I chose this quote because it shows conditions of the mountain and how rough and rugged they are, and I really kind of felt like I was in the mountain. Now, quote number 3. I fell into a tortured, fitful sleep despite the racket produced by the furiously flapping tent. Shortly after midnight, I was in the midst of a nightmare about Andy. He was falling down Lot's face, trailing a rope, demanding to know why I hadn't held on to the other end. Now, I chose this quote because of the PTSD the narrator felt. He felt like he could have saved some of the people that died, or maybe that was his fault. And it shows a really mental toll climbing these mountains and the high risk there is, which I really liked. And then last but not least, quote number 4. Mortality had remained a conveniently hypothetical concept, an idea to ponder in the abstract. Now, this one is actually my most favorite quote because it's really poetic. But I chose that quote because it explains how his life changed after that event, not only because he climbed the tallest mountain in the world, but because he faced a big storm and multiple friends of his died. Now, let's see what else I have. Why I like this book. It showed me the difficulties of climbing Mount Everest. I know it's already difficult without even saying much. The physical and mental challenges associated with this expedition. I like to challenge myself in both of those aspects, so it really gave me an insight. Maybe someday I'll climb Mount Everest. And even though in the beginning he said a lot of people climb this mountain nowadays compared to before, it really exemplified the risk still involved, even though a bunch of people climb it every year. And last but not least, again, I liked it because it showed the brutality yet the most beautiful side of the mountain. And even though it's very deadly, he also managed to display the beautifulness of nature and how unforgiving it is. So once again, this was Into Thin Air by Jon Krakauer, I don't know. And there you go.